Good morning, broadcasters. 360 Seconds News and Commentary for Broadcast Professionals is on the air. I'm Maria Kholodova from TKT. Let's discuss the latest technological news with our respected experts, Philip Grossman and Ann Seidler. Don't forget to give the program a like. In its European debut, Lawo introduced the dot-edge hyperdensity SDI IP conversion and routing platform. It's designed as an easy drop-in SDI router replacement and as a hyperdensity conversion unit for IP and hybrid infrastructures, and provides full support for the SMPTE ST2110 suite of standards, as well as ST 2022-7 redundancy. Mary, I knew that you were curious about the standards.
Yeah, we were talking about this earlier. Philip, as we were mentioning, this is a real challenge for the audio industry because companies tend to be smaller and it takes a lot of work to adhere to these standards. How do you see this rolling out with the video community, and how much is it different than what we've seen so far in audio?
Right. Well, so the video community, believe it or not, we learned from the audio world. The audio world, I think when IP started, you had about 12 different standards. And in the video world, it started originally with the SMPTE 2022-6 and 7 standards, which was just wrapping SDI and IP. And then we came out with the 2110, which is true IP. So it caused a little bit of a delay, I believe. But now the adoption of the 2110 and what it's capable of doing, and you can do compressed in 2110, is allowing people to adopt the standards. The question is, are they adopting IP? IP has a lot of benefits. I think in 2017, SMPTE was calling it dematerialized facilities, but effectively you can have stuff all around the world because you can transmit it now via IP. And a device like this is really interesting. It's very, very dense. It competes directly, I believe, or somewhat indirectly with Imagine's Selenium network processor, the SMP. It has 48 I/O, although it only has 200 gig links. So you can't fit all 48 of the SDIs onto the IP, which leads me to believe that potentially this can also act as strictly a SDI-based router, which really, if that is the case where they can go from SDI to SDI, that's really interesting because you have a very small footprint and you have something that allows you to then move into the IP world, which is what everybody's looking to do. It's just, how do I make this conversion? I've got all this SDI gear. Now I go IP, do I have to replace it all? And not everybody's making IP gear yet. So it really looks like a really practical solution for that transition to IP.
I thought it was interesting that they also allow you to spin up or spin down services very quickly. And it's the first time I've actually seen in a technical brochure that someone was talking about CapEx versus OpEx. Did that strike you?
Yeah, so you're starting to see it more and more because these pure hardware devices are actually software driven. We all know that. And so they're able to, in the manufacturing and the calculations of the cost, figure out how do I turn up and turn down capabilities in the box or rent the capability, which I think is very practical for production companies and for networks as they're testing the waters on new things. So it's a very interesting product.
All right, now moving on to Sony. Sony has announced its newest addition to the cinema line, the FX30. The new 4K Super 35 compact cinema camera features a new back-illuminated 20.1 megapixels APS-C XMOR-R CMOS sensor with a dual base ISO to deliver high sensitivity, low noise, and 14 plus stops of latitude. It also supports a variety of video recording codecs. So Philip, can you tell us a little bit more about that?
Yeah, so it's interesting to see a lot of, calling them Super 35, that's an APS-C size sensor. And you're seeing effectively smaller and smaller, we'll call them cinema grade cameras with pretty amazing capabilities. 14 stops of dynamic range, which is great. The dual ISO, so it has low light sensitivity. It fits into their larger range, so you're hoping that the colors will match. It gives a lot of flexibility to both film production companies as well as television production companies to have a small camera. I wouldn't necessarily say GoPro replacement because it's not industrial in nature, but it's small in size with a high quality sensor. So the capabilities there, the quality of the image is there. I'm assuming it's going to use a lot of the same software as their other cinema cameras, so it'd be easier to match the colors. So I'm kind of excited by it just to see more and more camera companies doing this. It's a little mind-numbing that I've got so many different lens mounts to deal with because of it, but I'm glad to see people pushing the boundaries.
Great. Well, that's all the time that we have left for today. Thank you so much, Phil. Thank you, Mary. Many thanks to our experts. And don't forget to comment on the news that we've discussed. See you next Monday at the same time. Thank you. Goodbye.
Bye-bye.